The dishwasher just took one look at the dish the head chef made and immediately noticed something was wrong. Suddenly, as if she had thought of something, she poured her prepared sauce into the pot. But when she brought the finished dish to the table, she was met with the head chef's criticism. He scolded the woman for changing his dish without permission, without giving her any chance to explain. When the restaurant owner's son heard this, he immediately looked happily at the two in front of him because he had originally planned to use the expert he had hired to defeat his own father and gain the inheritance of the restaurant. He never expected that this suddenly appearing dishwasher would directly save him so much trouble. So he tossed the woman's dish aside with disdain, not noticing the regretful look on the food expert's face. But the owner took just one bite of the woman's dish and couldn't stop. He finished the entire dish and was still licking his fingers, savoring the taste. He then realized that the dishwasher in front of him must not be simple. But what he didn't know was that the woman before him was actually the legendary chef who had disappeared 3 years ago. Because she had grown tired of the Chef Association's ways of winning competitions by using all kinds of underhanded tactics against her will, she decided to withdraw from competitions forever and work as a dishwasher in a restaurant. But what she didn't expect was that by simply making one dish, she would almost have her identity exposed. She looked at the owner, who had already finished the dish, pretending as if nothing had happened. But she was scolded by a staff member, who said it was her fault that the owner had to eat food from the ground. At this moment, James, the president of the Culinary Association who had come along, thought the owner was just putting on an act and looked at him with deep disappointment. The owner's son then stepped forward and bluntly said he had spent $1 million hiring all kinds of food experts. He claimed their dishes could definitely satisfy any guest's needs, but he demanded that his father transfer the restaurant to his name. Everyone looked at the owner's son in shock, not expecting him to be so despicable. The owner furiously refused his son's request out loud, saying he would never hand the restaurant over to him. He then decided to have a cooking competition with his son. The loser would not only never cook again, but would also have to break his own arm. Everyone tried to stop the owner from competing, and even James looked at the owner disapprovingly, but the owner insisted on his decision. When the son saw his father agree, he immediately became happy, because this had been his plan all along. Soon, the first match began. At this time, the food expert was still staring at the food on the table. When James announced that the first competition was about taste, the son looked at Mike, the chef who specialized in taste. Everyone was shocked to see the man remove his cloak and couldn't help but feel uneasy. He was known as the #1 chef in taste. Even the pickiest guest would be conquered by his food after his adjustments. But the head chef nearby still looked at Mike with disdain, bragging that back in school, his sense of taste was the best in class. He then stepped onto the stage to compete, but was stopped by the owner. The owner bluntly said the head chef wasn't good enough and looked toward the dishwasher, wanting her to compete instead. The woman looked at the owner with an amused expression. Although she didn't want to reveal her identity, to repay the owner for taking her in for the past 3 years, she agreed to help him win the competition. But the head chef blocked her way and threatened her to pack up and leave immediately. The woman simply shook off his hand and insisted on going on stage. Seeing the woman step up, everyone couldn't help guessing the owner's intentions. But no matter what they said, the competition began. The president had one dish brought to each side. Mike simply took one bite and accurately named the origin and ingredients of each. Everyone stared at Mike in shock, and even the food expert couldn't help but praise Mike's sharp sense of taste. Just when everyone thought they would surely lose, the woman calmly picked up her chopsticks, dipped them in the soup, and took a sip. When the son saw this, he mocked her, saying she had already given up. Even the owner beside her started to doubt her. But at that moment, the woman casually recited a string of numbers. No one understood what she meant, except the food expert, who opened the envelope in shock. When he saw what was inside, he was stunned to find the numbers were exactly the same as the ones she had just said. The woman then revealed that the numbers she said were the exact quantities of each ingredient in the dish, without the slightest error. Mike also opened his envelope in disbelief and was shocked to find that everything she said was correct. Then they heard Mr. James announce the result of the competition. The woman had won the first round. Soon, the second round began. This round's theme was noodles. Before anyone could react, the head chef immediately stepped onto the stage, declaring that this was his specialty. But what he didn't know was that the chef the son sent out was best known for using tricks to win competitions. Competitors who had faced him before before, had been injured to the point of disability. Because of this, he had long been expelled from the Culinary Association. While the crowd was still worried below the stage, he had already used magic to toss the flour and water into the air. It turned into dough mid-air. Just as he was about to harm someone, the woman quickly stepped forward and pushed the head chef aside, immediately pulling the noodles from his hands and pinning him to the table. The other chef, furious, used magic again to attack her, but she dodged and struck back. The two fought under the table, but the fragile noodles couldn't withstand their magic. Soon, both the table and noodles broke. The noodle chef fell to the ground, but the head chef's noodles had already snapped. The president announced that the owner's son had won the second round. The head chef still wanted to blame the woman for pushing him, but the owner clearly knew she had saved him.